All right, we're going to tie the Mardi Gras Minnow. This is a new pattern in the line of the Mardi, similar to the Mardi Craw. We're going to start out with this is a size 1 straight-eyed streamer hook. This is an MFC hook, but you can use any straight-eyed 3X long. And then what we've done is we've threaded on 3 of the 3D beads from Hairline. They're kind of a lure making bead, got a lot of shine to them, especially when they get wet. And we're going to start out with just what I did was I mounted these beads with a little bit of a bump in the cone that sets them back. There should be a gap in between that last bead and that cone. So that's an important part to make sure, so you don't crowd yourself on the head there when you're finishing up. So we're just going to take some olive marabou here, and 2 plumes is what I usually go on these. We'll find a couple good plumes here. For this one's getting a little spent out. Okay, and we'll match up those tips. And then I want this to be just a little bit longer than the shank length. And I'm going to tie these in with some nice tight wraps all the way up to the butt section of those beads. Or butting up against those beads is what I mean. Okay, so I'm just going to get that in. That gives us a nice level platform to tie the backside on here. And take some copper flash. We'll just take 1 piece, a nice straight piece. This one's kind of crinkled up. Full length piece would be nice. All right, so we're going to take that, and on here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this over, match up the tips, and then I'm gonna set the first set just a little bit longer than the tail. Go ahead and capture those on my side, wrap them back, and then I'm going to take that loop and I'm going to pull them over to this side so that I can capture them on this side and have something to hold on to. Okay, so when we're done with that, just make sure that I just go ahead and snip that loop. That way I know they're even. Okay, we're going to take some Whiting American saddle hackle. This is the dark olive color. We're going to take some out of kind of the middle section here, right before you would get to kind of those slopping feathers in the back. I'm going to take 2 pieces. Okay, so you can see that we get some nice webby stuff down here, a little bit more rigidity up there. Okay, so I'm just going to tie off some of this fluff, and I'm going to take this and just kind of right where that webby stuff really starts to be the majority of the feather. It's a little stiffer than slopping, so I like that. Kind of gives it a little bit more profile and movement in the water. Okay, and so I'm going to tie this in. I'm just going to wrap it forward. Okay, it should come up right short of that bead there. I'm going to get that nice and solid down. Okay, we'll hop over to the second spot. If you need to know how to put these beads in, go ahead and check out the Mardi Craw video on the YouTube channel. It'll tell you how to get these beads set and everything in here, nice and locked down so that they don't spin. Okay, so we're gonna do the same exact thing in the next section here. Two to 3 wraps depending on your feather. And then when you pull that down, you notice that it just spins and locks into place. So it takes all that slack out of there. So that's an important thing to do. Just make sure that you got it nice and tight into that nook of that bead. You can see those beads shine through really well. We'll go to the next section here. We're going to go to some UV polar chenille. This is the UV copper. Copper and olive is a great color combo around here. Okay, so I'm going to take It's going to kind of pull these fibers back and make sure that I'm putting the material right on top of each other so they kind of face backwards a little bit. This allows it to kind of move and not get just matted down. I'm going to pull everything back, put that in there, and you notice that we have a nice copper sheen that goes over. It gets held up by those slopping feathers or saddle feathers, and we'll be good to go. So hopping into behind the cone here, we're going to go with an EP Foxy brush. Okay, now you can use just straight up Fox and a dubbing loop if you want. These EP brushes are just super easy. And I like that they have a little bit of copper flash in them on this one. Kind of matches with the rest of the bug and just makes it all come together really nicely. So I'm going to take one of these. And I'm just going to cut this, the wire just a little bit short. I'm going to kind of push this all the way in so that's in that cone and capture it, and you can feel it cinch down into there. You shouldn't be able to pull that out. If you can pull it out, that the head's not gonna stay for you. Okay, I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna kind of pull this all backwards. I'm just gonna give about 2 to 3 wraps inside that cone. So there's 2 wraps. Bring it up here in the front and capture that. Give a couple loose wraps, and I can pull that and watch it cinch down into that cone there. Okay, give it a couple securing wraps, and then you can cut that off. Got a little bit of remaining there. Okay, so you get that whole thing cinched down in there. Okay, give a couple nice securing wraps and grab a comb. This is just a dog brush from a local store. And untangle all of that. Okay, I'm going to pull that back, give it a couple wraps, and we're going to go to our legs. Our rubber legs are just, this is a pumpkin leg with some green chrome splashes on it. And take one piece, fold it around the thread, place it on my side of the cone. I'm going to give one wrap over the top of it. Okay. And then one more on the far side. Okay, so we're going to go there, push it forward just a little bit, just capture that end there. That way I have my legs facing backwards and we don't get them going forward there. Okay, so I'm just going to take that, whip finish. And we'll cut that off. On the legs, I trim them right behind the bend of the hook. So I take it and I trim them right behind the bend of the hook. That allows them to be about the same length as the collar and the flash. Stays out of fouling in the tail and everything. But that's a great little pattern. Those beads really bleed through when it gets wet. They just glow and glisten. It's a great little pattern for around here. And yeah, easy to tie, straightforward. Tie some up. Talk to you soon.